hear that? That's right, there's no noise. Even though there's almost 100 snakes in this room, they're basically completely silent. And that's one positive thing about owning a pet snake. No one's gonna know you have it unless you tell them. Cool thing about snakes is they don't have to take up a lot of room. Like, this is a giant room full of snakes, but if you have one snake, this might be the entire space that you need for it. Now, this is about 3 feet long going back into this rack, but you get the idea. You don't need a whole room. This thing won't be running around your house doing anything. It's really in like a 1.5 by 3 foot area if you want it to be. I like snakes because they don't trash your place. Sometimes I go to friends' homes, so they have cats or dogs, and things are just torn apart everywhere, and it's like, oh my God, what happened to your furniture? Why is your furniture destroyed? Like, oh, the dog got at it. You're not gonna have that issue with snakes. Snakes are relatively inexpensive to get into. Not if you buy an entire room full of them and fill it up with racks that cost thousands of dollars. But if you have like one snake, you can get a small rack with 1 or 2 of these tubs for probably a couple $100s. And that'll last the snake its entire life. Now, while there are very expensive snakes out there, the majority of them can be bought for maybe under $100 for a ball python or a corn snake. And if you just want a companion, something to get you started with snake keeping, there's nothing wrong with that. That's how I started. The cool factor. I think snakes are cool. So do a lot of other people. Not everyone's gonna love them. You're not gonna get invited to a ton of parties once you start telling people you have a snake. But people that come into this room leave with a completely different sense of what snakes are and how they interact with humans. It's pretty cool. Do you remember like 5 seconds ago when I told you that snakes are cool and, you'll meet people and change their minds? Well, not everyone's gonna be like that. Sometimes it's a little bit socially awkward to talk about having snakes, and sometimes people's reactions could be, like you imagine. Not very cool at all. Newsflash, snakes can bite. It's one of the things that goes along with the hobby. Now, I go months at a time in a room full of snakes without getting bitten. If you're doing things correctly, you can avoid a lot of bites. And they generally don't bite me because they're angry with me or want to bite me. It's just, I just reach my hand in, they think it's food, and they bite. That's just what they do. Sometimes they'll just tag me and move away. Other times they fully constrict my hand and try to eat my hand. And it's, it is what it is. Snakes bite. Unlike a lot of mammals, most snakes are not higher functioning individuals. They don't play. They don't have the cognitive abilities that we have, such as love. You may be better off buying a puppy or another furry mammal like that if you're looking for something to really give back something to you. This is a different type of relationship in here. I'm not really looking for anything from my animals other than to enjoy them. I find them beautiful and interesting. It would be nice if they could curl up and give me a hug, but that's just not something that they do, and I'm fine with that. And you should be too if you're thinking about getting a snake. I'm standing in my snake room right now. It's almost 80 degrees in here. Now, I don't expect you to have a snake room if you're buying your first snake. I didn't. But what you need to understand is these animals have different parameters for heat and humidity than you or I would. If it's 60 degrees in your house, the species you have may not be comfortable sitting in a glass tank in your living room. That's why these are all down here in a specific environment. So understand, these animals will need a little more heat and humidity than maybe what your house has just on any given day. These snakes don't eat cheeseburgers. They eat rats and birds, and mice on occasion. If you're not comfortable feeding possibly live rats or mice to your snake, there's a good chance that you're going to have a problem with snake ownership. It's just a fact of life. They eat things that a lot of people find disgusting. And quite frankly, even though I love mice and rats, well, I don't really love mice, but rats are cool. They're smelly, they produce waste, and that's something you need to understand before getting into snake ownership. I hope this video gives you a little bit of insight into the pros and cons of what it is to own a snake, whether it be 1 or 100. I didn't get my first snake until I was almost 30 years old, so it's never too late to start. This is Andrew from Snakeworks. Thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time.